Welcome in to episode 114 of Gimme the Hot Sauce. Our special guest coming up in a few minutes, former NBA and Fighting Illini great Eddie Johnson. His Twitter handle is @JumpShot8. He was a guy that came off the bench and could light it up. He played with a number of NBA teams, was an outstanding player in the NBA. Also, for all you Illinois fans, you remember his great times down in Champaign-Urbana. So we'll visit with Eddie. He's also currently the analyst for the Phoenix Suns. We'll find out what's going on with that team as they've really descended in the Western Conference standings. They could be in for a shakeup before the February 9th deadline. I want to say hello to all of our followers on the YouTube chat. We always enjoy following along with you and hearing some of your crazy comments. You guys are out of control, messing with each other and really not paying attention to what Stacey and I are saying. If you're watching, you see that the red-faced Tim Kelley is not here.
The red face.
The lobster man is getting fresh treatment down in Fort Myers, Florida. He was supposed to dial in, but he's probably too many drinks in already.
Well, listen, America, I just want to throw this out here. I said this last week when he was not here for the part of the segment.
Yeah.
I don't need to blink today. I feel safe. I feel like I can be myself. I don't have to worry about 30 years of abuse from Tim Kelley. I'm just honored to be here now. This is about the most relaxed I've been since we've been doing the show because he's always right next to me, and he makes me nervous. So he's that guy that, he's that guy, man. He looks like he's innocent, but really he's not. He's abusive.
So there's really two theories why he hasn't joined in via Zoom. One is that he's already had too many drinks. The second one, remember that crazy neighbor he had that was looking for his wife or his girlfriend? Yeah, he may no longer be with us.
You know, I'm at the production meeting the other day. He said he was going to be there. Okay, he said he was going to be there, Mark. And then, all of a sudden, he's not here. And so, we might have to dock some pay from him. Man.
Yeah.
He's come on, man. You got to show up to work, bro.
It's hard to dock from nothing, though.
Well, don't tell everybody that, Mark. we don't want everybody. We don't let everybody know our secret, baby.
Hey, we've got a lot of fun coming up on the show today. All kinds of hoops talk, as you see if you're watching the King's Court graphic that our guys put together. We appreciate that. We appreciate everybody following along, and make sure that you like and subscribe on YouTube and all the various podcast formats. We're trying to grow our numbers as we are now well into our third year of the show, actually. Let's talk about the Bulls. Stacey, you were out in Washington, D.C. last night, and Bulls had a 16-point lead and disappeared.
America. I feel your pain.
Yeah.
I feel your pain. Everything was going great last night. I mean, it just looked like it was going the Bulls' way. Really good first half, put a really good first half. And what you typically see with this team when they play against teams that are either missing key players or they're under 500, you see what happens. A 41-point quarter for Washington.
That can't happen.
Against the Washington Wizards cannot happen. And
missing Beal and Porzingis.
Well, and that tells me that's a lack of energy and a lack of effort. And you can't just say, oh well, they were just they were shooting lights out. No, they weren't.
No.
They were not shooting. They out hustled the Bulls. They outworked the Bulls, and that was so frustrating last night in that third quarter. It's like these games. You have to remember these games are so important right now because when it gets down to the end of the year and they're fighting for a playoff spot, they're going to look at all these below 500 teams they lost to. You can sit there and blame the referees. Oh, the referees cost us 3 games. Who cares about that? The referees didn't cost the game last night.
No,
they didn't cost the game last night. They didn't cost the game the other night in Boston. We had a chance to win at the end of that. We can't look excuses. You have to start looking within. And there's a certain effort and energy you have to play with on a nightly basis in this league. You can't look at the paper mark and go, oh, Porzingis is not playing for the Wizards tonight. Oh, Daniel Gafford's not playing, so there's no inside guys. And Bradley Beal's not playing. So they're playing without 3 of their top 6 players. And so what the Bulls tend to do is, so I guess we can take the night off. This is an easy game. Let's just go out there and, just go through the motions. And then you saw it from the very first few minutes of the game that Washington was coming out to win. They weren't messing around. And so the Bulls, at that point, after they got control of the game, went in with a 16-point halftime lead. You had to feel good about that. It's like, okay, they got it. They're turning this around, And then right back to some of the things that they've been doing all year before the Minnesota game. Lack of rotations, guys not being where they're supposed to be, not giving you the extra second and third efforts. A wasted, game from Zach LaVine. Patrick Williams only had 4 points going into the fourth quarter. This was an opportunity for him to step up with DeMar being out. There's 25, 26 shots out the lineup right there. Who gets those shots now? So now you need a third guy, and you hope it's him. You hope it's Io. Kobe White played decent. Washington had, I think the tallest guy was 6'7".
They're playing Gill at center.
And I listen. Oh man, I'm telling you. I'm saying, okay, if I'm looking at this lineup as a fan, I'm sitting there and saying, okay, Vooch's gonna get 50.
Yeah,
this is a 50.
Dump it inside.
Anytime you're playing the land of the Lilliputians and your Gulliver's Travels, you just sit there and go, that's 50-point game. Yeah. If you look at Joel Embiid and Jokic, those dudes automatic 30+. They see it line up like that, they're getting 30+. They might even get a triple-double. Their mindset's different. Taj Gibson, I love Taj Gibson. Taj is long in the tooth. He hasn't played a lot of minutes.
And he was sucking wind last night. He played too many
minutes.
Yeah,
he played too many minutes. Well, they haven't played him.
Yeah,
so he was forced to play a lot last night because their front line was gone. So he was out there playing. That's a night where, Vooch, you say, hey, look, give me the ball.
Yeah.
Give me the ball. He should have got 25 shots down there last night. Nothing should have been outside the paint. And, those are the things that frustrates me, calling the games. It's the obvious stuff that you have to look at and say, hey, wait a minute. They're smaller than us. We should have more offensive rebounds. We should have more points in the paint. They have no shot blockers. So we can go to you saw Zach. Zach went to the rim every single time. Now, I will say this. The Bulls did go to the rim and didn't get a lot of calls. There was a free throw discrepancy even in the first half, where Washington had like 18 free throws. The Bulls had like 4, and the Bulls were driving the ball. They weren't getting any calls. Something has to be said about that. I'm being honest with you because it's
that's on the coaching staff, right?
It's starting to become a regular basis. I mean, the officiating is not consistent. And my argument with the officials is because it's a tough job. I know they got a tough job. The game is fast. The athletes are bigger, stronger, faster. My biggest problem with the officials this year is that, a lot of the older guys are out the game now. They're retired. So they've got an influx of young guys. Normally, back in the day, you probably only had 2 or 3 new refs come in, every 3 or 4 years. You know what I'm saying? And then by the time those guys matured, guys were leaving and retired. So those guys have been behind some veteran officials learning how to call the game, learning how to work with star players. Now you have this influx of talent. You look up and you don't see anyone And so what they're doing is they're sending 1 veteran official and then 2 young officials to the game.
Yeah.
And I think it should be 2 veteran officials to every 1 young official. And that young official should be able to sit and watch the 2 veterans and learn how the game is being called. Because there's probably more texts given this year. These young officials are quick to give people texts. They don't care who it is. They don't care if it's a coach. They don't care if it's a player. So they're in their feelings. And when you're an official, you can't be in your feelings because that could alter a game. That could dictate how the game is going to be played. At the end of games, a guy misses a layup, and he's clearly fouled, and you wait to see if it goes in, and then if it doesn't go in, you call a foul. You see a lot of that this year. So there's a lot of stuff the officials have to do to get better, and I trust that they will. I trust the NBA will do something about it, but some of the games this year that's being called has been kind of atrocious.
Well, Bulls fans are all talking about the end of the game. Bulls were trailing by 3. Zach LaVine steps inside the three-point line and takes a shot as the buzzer goes off. Now, Zach tried to explain to reporters afterwards that he was grabbed by Wright, and he thought that he'd get continuation, might get a chance for a 3-point play. Obviously, he knew they were down by 3. That's one thing we should clear up immediately. It's not like he didn't know what the score was. He thought that he got grabbed and was going to go to the free throw line. What was your read watching it courtside and then hearing the explanations later?
Well, here's what I thought. Okay, I'm just an armchair quarterback, okay?
No, you're a lot more now. You are a professional analyst.
I am a professional analyst. Okay, he was fouled. He was fouled clearly by DeLon Wright. He was clearly fouled. But in that circumstance, sometimes, it's crazy when you think about it sometimes. Like when you need a 2, Zach will take a 3. When you need a 3, he takes a 2. Yeah. And so you wonder, like, okay, what goes through his head in those moments?
Well, you guys on the broadcast had that long shot of him talking to DeMar before they came out.
Yes.
So he knew what the score was.
Yes. So listen, DeMar's not a 3-point shooter. DeMar would have been able, in my opinion, I don't know if he would have made that shot in that same situation, but DeMar would have got to the free throw line. Maybe he hit that shot. He's done it before. Zach is a 3-point shooter. Zach just hit the biggest 3
with 1 second on the clock.
1 second on the clock. We had 5 seconds on the clock, so we had enough time to get a really good shot. So I'm thinking, okay, if anybody's going to take this shot, I want Zach to take it. Whether we win or lose, put the ball in his hands and let him make the shot because he's a shot maker. He's a guy that can jump up from 30 feet and drain a three. So he's your best player on the floor. Let him make the play. So I'm all for it. We win, we tie it, we go to overtime, or we lose. But I wanted it in my best player's hands. When he went for two, and then in his mind, he's saying he knew they were going to foul him because they had a foul to give. Well, I'm thinking they're not going to foul you taking a two. They're going to foul you before you were at the three-point line. So if they were going to foul you, they're going to foul you where you were at the three-point line.
So when he goes to grab, you go up behind the three-point line.
Yes, behind the three-point line. Now maybe a 4-point play. Now you get three free throws. Yeah. But to dribble inside with
doesn't
five,
accomplish anything.
So now you have no one to pass to because you had Kobe, I think, was in the right corner.
Caruso was open too.
And I think he was behind him though. He would have had to throw the ball behind him. But I think Vooch was to his left.
Yeah.
And he was behind the three-point line. And I understand what he was trying to do, but if that's okay if it's a minute left in the game. Because now you got a chance to say, okay, we got a chance to play the foul game. Okay. There's enough time to do that. You know what I'm saying? But not with 5 seconds. You've got to get a three. And I'm sure, listen, I wasn't in the huddle, and I don't know what Billy called. I wasn't there because we sit way up at the top. But I have to believe that they had a three-point play called. I have to believe
absolutely.
that. I have to believe that. I just do. I don't think that they just said, let's go get the two, maybe get the foul, and get a three the old-fashioned way.
Well, Zach said he thought he could get continuation, but I think at that point, his brain kind of short-circuited. He felt the grab, and then he didn't know exactly.
But even if you get continuation, you're inside the three-point line. It's just 2 free throws.
Well, he thought if he made the shot, he'd get a 2-and-1.
But that's one of those situations would have, could have, should have.
Oh, I get it.
Because most likely that team is not even going to allow you to get the shot up.
Right.
They're not even going to let you even get close to making that shot and why would they foul you? Knowing the situation that we don't want you to get a three, but we'll give up a two. Yeah. If they would have known that, they let him go all the way to the basket because then
they would have
gave you the layup. They don't want to give you the three, and then you score the layup. Now you're talking. You got a quick foul.
You got no timeout.
You got no timeout.
Yeah,
it's over. And it's over because there's only like 2 seconds left to get the ball in. All they got to do is throw the ball, down the other end of the court, let it bounce down the court. But I just have to believe that there was a 3-point play called. And he's our best 3-point shooter. Whether he makes it or he misses it, I didn't care because I want the ball in his hands. I think Kobe missed an open shot late in the game. And I'm not saying Kobe couldn't make that shot. I'm not saying Vooch couldn't make that shot. But if my life depended on it, and they say, all right, Stacey, your life depends on who of these 3 guys to take the last shot and the 3-point shot, who would you take? I'd take Zach LaVine every single day of the week.
And he had just made an extremely difficult 3-point
with
shot.
1 second.
So it's not like he wasn't capable of
1
making
second.
a shot. Right.
He didn't even look at the goal.
Yeah,
he turned and shot it.
Hey, we're not trying to erase what happened. It was a mistake. Zach screwed up, and he knows it. And, you wishes he had it over again.
If he had it over again, I guarantee you he'd have rose up and shot the three. But at the same time, it should have never got to that point.
You were up by 16 against a bad team.
America, listen to me, okay? We can sit here and talk all day long about that last play. It should have never got to this point. They were up 16, cruising along, dominating this team, playing great defense. Second half, they came out and they're just chilling. Like, oh, we got this game. This team's
They got
bad.
beat so many times on defense in that third quarter. How about the play at the end of the third quarter? They make a free throw with 2 seconds left.
Oh,
the guy underhands
yes.
the ball all the way.
Oh, Mark's going crazy over here. That's how mad he is over here, ladies and gentlemen. America. No, that really pissed me off.
Yeah. That can't happen.
You shoot a free throw, 2 free throws. The guy takes the ball and flips the underhand all the way down to the other end for a guy to lay up with like 2 seconds left. How does that happen? That shows me right there, Mark, that this team has mental lapses, and they have way too many mental lapses. This is a team that I feel like, they have the talent. They should be easily. I know, America, you're probably saying, Stacey, you're smoking what Snoop over here smoking or whatever. Too much hot sauce, whatever. This team should be a top 4 or 5 team in the Eastern Conference.
They've got talent.
There's enough talent with this. Listen, this is why, and I said this the other day. This is why Lonzo Ball is so important, because the Bulls constantly get beat at the point of attack every single night. Guys just drive right by their guys. Guys cannot stay in front of anybody. We can sit there and go, oh, well, they switch too much. Yeah, that is a big problem too. But our guards are relying on back-end help and basically they're getting a pass on this. No one's saying anything about this. You have to stay between your man and the basketball at all times. Your man drives the ball, slide your feet, stay down, and move and stay in front of him. When you give up a driving lane and guys just come through like the Autobahn, and then all of a sudden you're asking Vooch to help you, and then they throw a lob to his man, and everybody goes, well, it's Vooch's fault. Vooch's man's killing him. No, Vooch's man's not killing him. Vooch is trying to help his teammate, but no one's helping Vooch out. Now, when they won 8 out of 12 games, they neutralized that. Guys started coming, rotating over. They started helping. But we saw it rear its ugly head last night where the Bulls refused to make the second and third or fourth efforts that it takes to win a ball game, and that's why they lost.
As you mentioned, we always enjoy following you along on the YouTube chat. We get some great comments. And a guy named Renewable and Rechargeable Review says, where's Whispers? Hey, what, do you got chopped liver here? You got Stacey King, Mark Shanowski here. It's like somebody that's in trouble. Batman and Robin show up and he's asking, where's Alfred?
First of all, Mark, that's Whispers.
Okay. Oh, it's a dummy account?
Yeah, it's a dummy account. That's the only person who would be asking about Whispers is himself. Okay, just drawing the attention to himself, like someone really cared. Like, where's Whispers at? Okay, Tim, if you get on, hit the Zoom and get on here, we would know where you are.
Has been sent out to Fort Myers.
Wow,
Florida.
this is all time low. All-time low.
You got any intel on DeMar? He sat out yesterday. He almost never misses games. Did you talk to him?
Hey, listen, he's been no. What we understand is he's been playing with that for a few weeks.
Yeah.
And it just gave out on him. And he's a very durable, very tough guy. And it's day to day.
Right.
It's day to day. He's getting treatment around the clock. He's doing. That's a quad strain. And those are tough. Those are tough to come back from. You don't mess around with that because that's a muscular. And so when you have muscular injuries, those take a little bit longer to heal up. And hopefully he'll be back. Knowing DeMar, he's gonna come back as soon as possible. I would not be surprised if he's not back in one of these two games. Whether he takes the next couple days off, maybe not play against Oklahoma City, but play against Golden State. I could see that, but I'm not a doctor, even though I stayed in the Holiday Inn a couple of years ago. But I'd rest him.
And we missed the 5 Javonte Greens out there. He had a arthroscopic procedure. They're going to reevaluate in 2 weeks. The thought is he's probably going to miss about a month of action, and you really miss a guy like that because he gives you extra possessions in every game.
Well, you miss his energy.
Yeah.
This is the guy that comes off the bench, and you pair him with Caruso and Ayo, and the energy level picks up, especially on the defensive end. And so when he's not in the lineup, everybody else is kind of just like, they're just nonchalant. But a guy like him makes you play hard. A guy like Caruso makes you play hard because they dive on the floor. They're giving you extra possessions, offensive rebounds. And it's just these other guys have to start picking that play and start playing that way because, listen, we're past the halfway mark now.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
There's no more time to be messing around. If you're really serious about making the playoffs, Mark, you're not losing to Washington anymore. You're not losing to those teams anymore, okay? There's an interesting stat. Last year, the Bulls won over 70% of the times they played below 500 teams, okay?
Yeah.
This year, they're a little bit shade over 40%. It's a huge difference. So what it's telling us is that they're beating the teams that they didn't beat last year. There's more focus there. There's more focus on a Brooklyn. There's more focus on Boston's and Miami's. But they're not coming to the game with the same focus they need to be playing the Washington Wizards and, all these other teams that are losing, Oklahoma City, Orlando. You're thinking about the teams they lost to.
Yeah.
Like these are wins that should have been chalked up that would put them in a really solid placing as far as playoffs are concerned. But they keep losing these games, and they keep getting further and further behind, and they're waiting. Lonzo Ball ain't walking through that door anytime soon right now. You don't know when he's coming back. And so if that's what you're waiting on, if this team is waiting for that, by the time he comes back, you'll be out the playoff race. Yeah. You'll be playing, if anything, trying to play into a play-in game. You got to the 9th spot going into last night's game. You came all the way from like 13 all the way down to 9 now, with only 4.5 games separating from the 6th spot. This is momentum now. This is momentum for you. You got a couple, the schedule kind of lightens up for you. You got a couple of teams under 500 coming up. you're supposed to win these games. And when you win these games, you start putting them in the kitty. Then all of a sudden now you start playing the good teams later on, and now you built up enough equity. Now you got yourself back in the playoff race.
Yeah, and as Stacey mentioned, the schedule is softening up over the next 3 or 4 weeks. I read something on Twitter where I think before the All-Star break, they have the second easiest strength of schedule. So this is a time they have to stack up some wins. Hey, we want to tell you about one of our great sponsors, our buddy Jeff Vukovic. When it comes to insurance for your auto, home, and business, make sure you contact the king of insurance, our friend, nationwide agent Jeff Vukovic. You'll see him at Bulls games, at Blackhawks games. He supports all of Chicago's teams, so make sure you send your business his way. You can contact him at jeffvuk.com. That's jeffvuk.com. And Stacey already treated the fans on his Instagram live to the jingle. You got one more in you?
No, I'm passing it to the Sriracha crew. Go ahead, guys.
All right, you guys get another chance.
Here they come, the three tenors. The three tenors.
Week they just bungled it.
They did.
Yeah.
They fumbled it.
They get another chance.
Look at it. They're hustling now. Look at it. All right, wait. Let me give you a countdown. And a 1, and a 2, and a 3.
Nationwide is on your side.
Okay, that was horrible, America.
That sounded like Benetti and Steve Stone there.
Yeah, that was terrible, America. You deserve better. You deserve better, America. Guys, it's over. Sit down. Sweatshop's back. Get back to work before I fire you all. Okay, America, here it is. Here's what you waited for. Nationwide is on your side. Woo!
There you go.
I had to give it back to you, America, because I know you were cheated. You were cheated by Francisco. Francisco was the one that brought the group down. I just want to throw that out. He was the middle singer, like he was the lead singer. He brought us down. We needed Maddie out there, because Maddie's got a nice silky voice, and y'all keeping her out like she's Janet Jackson. Maddie, next time, Maddie, when you hear me say Sriracha Crew, Maddie, take the mic and lead sing, please.
This is Belle Biv DeVoe over here.
Oh,
It
no.
can't be.
No.
You got practice. You got years of practice.
Hey, listen. You got baby voice. You hadn't even gone through puberty yet, so you should be able to hit high notes. Oh, my goodness. D, it's all right, D. It's not your fault. I'm blaming it on Francisco. Francisco brought the group down with his little tight shirt. That's why he can't sing, ladies and gentlemen. He got a tight shirt on. Woo!
Hey, before we bring in Eddie Johnson, let's spray a couple of NBA topics. Injuries continue to be a big story around the NBA. Zion Williamson has been missing time. Now when the news comes down, Kevin Durant, that was a nasty thing. A guy fell into his knee. You always worry about that. He actually got off pretty lucky. They're saying it's a sprain of the MCL. He should be back in a month. But when you see that with Kevin Durant, when a guy falls into your knee, that just always sends chills down your spine.
Those are injuries you can't guard against. I mean, he banged these the first time, and then Jimmy fell on him and then rolled on him. His shoe came off. But the other injuries, are muscular injuries. Those are from like guys playing. I mean, listen, our schedule is brutal. Yeah. It's brutal. We're playing every other day. We hardly have any off days, and if we have an off day, it's a travel day, which is not really an off day. So the NBA really needs to look at the scheduling, because like here's how crazy it was. Last week we go to Philadelphia. We fly to Philadelphia on Thursday because we had played on Tuesday or Wednesday. So we fly to Thursday to Philadelphia, play Philadelphia on Friday, fly back home from Philadelphia to play a back-to-back game. I don't even know who it was. I think it was Utah. Okay? Then we get back on the plane on Sunday and fly to Boston to play the Celtics in Washington, which made no sense. Why not just let us stay out on the East, throw switch Philadelphia and Utah around, let us stay out there and play a 3-game swing. Now we're getting ready to go. We got a game on Friday, tomorrow, and then we got a game on Sunday, and then we fly out to Paris. Yeah. Okay, but look when we come back. Okay, we come back from Paris of being over 10,000 miles away. Parlez-vous français? People are going to be jet lagged, tired, and the NBA has these players doing all kind of things. See, you think those are off days, 16th, 17th, 18th, and the 20th? Those are not off days. The players and everyone has to be doing something related to the NBA, going to clinics and all this other stuff. So those are not off days. So then we come back and we fly back from Paris, and we get back on Saturday. We got a day off on Sunday. Then we got a back-to-back game against Atlanta and then the Pacers in a day, and that's a road game. The Pacers is a road game. So then we travel to Charlotte, play Charlotte. Then we travel to Orlando. We play Orlando, and I mean, as you can see, it's brutal.
Crazy.
It's brutal. It's brutal. And listen, this might be the worst travel schedule I've ever seen in my life. As a player, as a broadcaster, 17 years as a broadcaster, 10 years as a player. That's over 27 years. Worst schedule I've ever seen a team have.
I think that's one of the reasons why we're seeing so many injuries. It's crazy around the league. I mean, you see so many star players missing big chunks of time because guys, their bodies are just breaking down. Like, no time to rest.
Well, they have to. What I think too, Mark, is you have to take in consideration we're still under COVID. We're still under COVID. Okay,
people are getting it. You just don't hear about it anymore.
That's what I'm saying. So, so my thing is, you talk about, the immune system being worn down and everything. How does your immune system get worn down? It's not getting down because you're resting.
Right.
You're out here playing and traveling and getting on the plane and going back and forth, getting in at 2 a.m. Listen, America, I know you're sitting there saying, we don't want to hear that crying Stacey. They make millions of dollars and, they all this money and they drive Bentleys and everything. They do. I admit they do. I admit they do. They are.
You sound like Burgess Meredith a little bit there.
Listen. But America, I'm telling you. See, everybody thinks this life is like, this is so great. You get to travel, you get to do all this stuff. Someone said that to me the other day. So, Stacey, man, you get to go see all these places. I go, when you've been there a million times, it's not the same.
Yeah, when you go from plane to bus to hotel, it's not that.
It's not. And Mark's been on the trip.
Yeah,
Mark knows. There's no like going to go see the Capitol.
Right.
There's no going to go landmark seeing. I mean, once you get in, because you're getting into a city at 2 a.m.
Late, yeah.
So then you're sleeping, and you got a game the next day. So you're not up, running around doing things, and so you're trying to get as much rest as possible. You're trying to get as much sleep as possible, so you're fresh for the game. Listen. I'm complaining about myself, America. I ain't talking about anybody else, okay? I'm just saying me, okay? And with COVID going around, I just think that they need to take that in more consideration. There should be no back-to-back games in the NBA. And you shouldn't be playing every week, every other day. You should not be doing that. You should 2 games, 3 games a week, cool. There'll be some games you play back-to-back or 3 games in 4 days. But the Bulls schedule, if you look at the Bulls schedule from October, they've been playing that kind of schedule from day one.
It's been nuts.
And everybody keeps saying, well, they're trying to get all the games in so when you guys go to France and you have days off. Oh, surprise. There is no days off, okay? Because we'll be working all those days that are supposed to be off.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, the league will have you jumping.
Come
There's
on,
no question
NBA.
about that.
Help us out here. Help a brother out. We're tired.
Hey, did you catch what happened on Tuesday night in Miami? An NBA record that had stood since 1982, the days of Adrian Dantley playing for the Utah Jazz. The Miami Heat made all 40 of their free throw attempts. That broke the old record of 39. Jimmy Butler was 23 for 23, including a 3-point play to win the game. That was something.
It was something. I watched that game, and they were playing Oklahoma City. And Oklahoma City is a scrappy team, so that's why I'm concerned when people say, are you worried about Golden State? No, I'm not worried about Golden State because the Bulls will come out focused against Golden State. They'll go out and play hard against Golden State. I'm more concerned about Oklahoma City because Oklahoma City already beaten us once this year. We should have beat them in Oklahoma City. They already beaten us once.
Yeah.
So Shai Gilgeous-Alexander didn't have a good game against Miami, so he's going to be licking his chops to come back and have a good game against us. But it's a young, scrappy team. They had a chance to they were winning up until the last,
they blew it right
last
at the end,
seconds at the game, but they just don't know how to win yet.
Mm-hmm.
You can just tell.
Yeah.
But they play hard. That coach, Dagnott, has them playing super hard. They compete. They're fun to watch. That Giddey kid is the real deal, 6'8" point guard. They don't have a lot of size, so I expect. Well, no, I'm not gonna say anything. I'm not gonna say anything, American. I'm not saying. Just come to the game. I'm not gonna say anything about posting up and kill them in the paint. I'm not saying anything, America.
You want to do the hot sauce read, or you want me to take it?
Oh, let me take it, Mark. I gotta earn my money over here, Mark.
You see all the sauces on display if you're watching on YouTube, right?
Ladies and gentlemen,
make sure you get your orders in.
Get your orders in because pretty soon it'll be in Jewel Osco.
Yeah, that's right.
So keep watching. Ah, yes. Are you looking to score the hottest sauce in the game? Well, you're in luck. We got the sauce your kitchen needs. From Chicago Fire 1871 to the hottest of the bunch to our king's favorite, St. Pat's Verde. Yes, that is my favorite, and that's not a misprint. Gimme the Hot Sauce has got you covered. Stop by Gimme, Gimme, thehotsauce.com, and use code KING21 and get 21% off your first order today. And we are about ready to sell out, so you might want to get in there and get it.
Yeah. Did Whispers take some down to Fort Myers? Is he packing some down there? Or?
I don't think he's packing hot sauce.
He might be packing something else.
He's packing something else. I don't know what he's packing down there. Like, you ain't here for me. Hey, America, again, what I say, listen, Whispers is taking the day off. He deserves it.
He's entitled to
He works
vacation,
really hard, again, he's not here. You see, normally sits right here next to me. I didn't have to blink today. I keep telling y'all, I didn't have to blink, rub my ear, give you some kind of signal that I was in trouble, hold up a sign, please help. So I feel safe today, but he'll be back. He'll be back soon.
So I know you're all looking forward to his Christopher Walken impersonation. You'll have to wait until next week for Timmy Whispers with that. But we got a special guest coming up, the great Eddie Johnson, former Fighting Illini and NBA star. That is next on episode 114 of Gimme the Hot Sauce. Episode 114 of Gimme the Hot Sauce rolls on. It's now our privilege to welcome in the Phoenix Suns expert analyst, the longtime NBA veteran, Fighting Illini great, Eddie Johnson joins the show. And Eddie, I got to tell you a personal story first before we talk a little NBA. I actually started a job in Champaign-Urbana on television in January of 1982. So I just missed you over there. That was a team with Derek Harper, Anthony Welch. I'm trying to remember some other guys on that team. But what were your memories of playing for Lou Henson and the Fighting Illini? Because I really loved Lou. He was like almost a father to the guys in the media. I'm sure he was similar with the players.
Yeah, look, that was the best 4 years of my life, to tell you the truth. And it almost didn't happen. And I think I still would have had some success if it didn't happen, but I'm glad I spent the 4 years with him. As Stacey did, I had an option to go anywhere I wanted when I was coming out of high school. And so it boiled down really to, believe it or not, DePaul, because I was very close to Ray Meyer, and I was playing at Westinghouse High School. And at the time, back then, I'm sure you remember, Mark Aguirre and I was on that team, Skip Dillard.
Oh, wow.
We had a heck of a team, and I knew that those guys were going to try to follow wherever I went. And so I was going to be the example, right? And so I couldn't go to DePaul because I felt like I had to get away from home. I had to work on my studies, and I had to, be in an environment that was conducive to a college area, right? I just didn't want to stay in Chicago. And so I crossed DePaul off the list. USC was one of the schools as well. And I said, I only wanted to go there because I wanted to go to California.
Yeah.
And so I had to cross that off the list because my mom wasn't flying that far to see me. And then the third school, believe it or not, was wherever Magic went. Magic and I became good friends in high school, and I knew he was going to choose between Michigan and Michigan State. And I mean, I'm talking about every day he was calling me. Every day. Eddie, come on, you got to go here. You got to go here. And I was very close to doing it. But Stacey, man, like I felt like I was the #1 player in Illinois. He's the #1 player in Michigan. I'm like, I wanted to go my own trail.
Yep.
Man, how dumb was I? How dumb was I, right? But I did. I went to Illinois, man, played for Lou Henson, and it was a great 4 years. He was a father figure of mine, man, and he really humbled me. Set me on the bench as an All-American my first year. Didn't play me a ton. I could have transferred, but I knew I had to get better. And if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have built my body up, put my focus right, and gotten better to where I could have, survived till I was age 40 in the NBA. So I credit everything to him. Great 4 years at Illinois. And, obviously he passed away a couple of years ago, and I miss him dearly.
That's amazing that you say that, coming in, being, one of the top high school players in the nation, could have went anywhere you wanted to go. And you get to Illinois, you're not the man right away. You have to earn your stripes, and you were on the bench in some of the games you probably didn't play a lot, or you didn't play the minutes you deserved. How different is it today? Because you decided, like, hey, you know what? This is the place for me. I'm going to work. I'm going to earn my way in the lineup. I'm not leaving. You could have easily left and transferred. Nowadays you see these kids jumping in the portal. Every single thing doesn't go their way. It's like, I'm leaving. I've seen a couple of kids from Oklahoma go in the portal 2 or 3 times. I'm like, how many times have you go in the portal? So that's amazing that you say that, because I don't think a lot of people understand. Because I was ready to transfer to Oklahoma. But my parents wouldn't let me. They told me, this is the school you wanted to go to. We told you not to go to Oklahoma. You're going to stay there. My dad told me, he was like 6'5", 260. He told me, he said, hey, look, this is the school you want to go to. You made a man's decision. You're going to honor it like a man. And so I had to work my way into a lineup and change my whole life. And I probably wouldn't be where I'm at, just like you wouldn't be where you're at if we had transferred and went somewhere else. So talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, it was hard, Stacey. It really was. I mean, my brother passed away at a young age too while I was in school. And so it was extremely hard for me to just adjust to and being humble, especially, on a team, how guys are, man. Like, they looking at you like, man, that dude wasn't no All-American.
Yeah.
Man. So I had to go through a lot of that stuff, man. But, what I did, I was 180 pounds, Stacey. I went there, skinny young kid, 6'7", and Lou Henson came up to me one day. He said, Eddie, you can shoot the ball and you can play, but it's hard to play when you're on your back. And, and I had to walk away from that, and I had to look in the mirror, and I had to say, okay, is he correct or is he wrong? And you know what, man? I said he's right. And so I went to the weight room, man. I mean, I'm telling you, man, after he said that to me, I lived in the weight room. I mean, I didn't even go home in the off season. I stayed down there. And for a full year, I lifted. And I came back my sophomore year, man, I was 25, 30 pounds. Up from that, all muscle, and I was kicking their butt. And Lou Henson looked at me, he said, you will never come out of a game the rest of your career unless you tell me.
Wow.
True story.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so what it taught me, man, like, not to quit. Like, I wasn't gonna quit. I wanted to prove to this man. I didn't want to take the out and run to DePaul, and they were coming down there. They were trying to get me out of there. Mark Aguirre decided not to go to Illinois because of what he saw I went through. So he went to DePaul. They tried to talk me into it. I said, no, man. I said, I'm going to show him. I said, I'm not going to quit. And to me, man, nobody told me that, guys. It's just, I think God put it on me. And I had to fight my whole life. I mean, growing up in Cabrini Green, growing up on the west side of Chicago, dealing with, peer pressure and all of that, watching my brothers fail at certain things. And I just said, you know what? I'm not quit. And I think for me, I've carried that my entire life, man. And I think that was the best. That was the first test, I think, that God put on my plate. And I felt like I passed it because I didn't quit. And Lou Henson, like I said, he's like a father figure, man, after that. He just respected me so much, and he prepared me for the next level.
He ain't lying, Mark, as far as he's talking about his body.
Yeah.
Like, he was built like a power forward as a small forward. Like, that's all we used to say. Like, man, that boy's strong as hell. Like, Scotty didn't like playing against him because he was physical. He was a physical small forward. And during that time, Scotty was still developing, and he was more of a finesse player. And then it forced Scotty to get in the weight room. It really did. Everybody thinks Michael was the one that forced Scotty to get in the weight room. But, going up against Eddie and Xavier McDaniel and all these powerful small forwards that were in the league at the time, you look at footage of Eddie on film. Like, we showed on one of the pre-films when we were bringing it out on social media. Eddie's body was yoked. He's still yoked. He still work out. Tell Eddie, man, I'm just telling you, boy, don't mess with Eddie Johnson. Don't mess with Eddie Johnson. I'm just going to throw that out there.
Hey, Eddie, you mentioned California when you're considering your college choices, and then you get into the NBA, and your glamorous first stop is in Kansas City with the Kansas City Omaha Kings. What was that experience like for you?
Well, again, Cotton Fitzsimmons was my coach, man. And like I said, man, I just believe, man, every step I took was just laid out for me because Cotton was the perfect coach for me. He really took hold of what Lou Henson left me off with. And he humbled me, man. I mean, like, I was a second-round pick. Yeah, I was kind of guaranteed to be on the team, but not really. Stacey knows what that is. Like, you're a second-round pick, and, Stacey's been around guys that came to teams, and they were young. But it's no guarantee. I had no guarantee. Like, Stacey came to the league, he had guarantee. I didn't have any. But I felt that I was on the team. They laid out for me, but I still didn't believe it. And Cotton made sure that I didn't believe it because every step of the way, he rode me, man. He rode me. And for me, my first year in the league, I think I averaged 9 points a game. And I was just getting abused. Like I was getting abused by, and Stacey knows this, by Kiki Vandeweghe, Alex English, Purvis Short. And I was like, and I came into the league like halfway as like a defender and a scorer because they didn't know I could score like I did. But they knew that I could fight down low. They knew I could rebound. And so I found myself being a little undersized, because, back in the day, them dudes were huge.
Yep.
And so, but Kiki and Purvis just wore me out. And I went to my coach my second year. Frank Hamlin. Well, obviously, you guys know.
Yep.
And I went to Frank Hamlin, and I said, Frank, man, I got to get better with my footwork, man. I got to get better. And he said, Eddie, I'll introduce you to Pete Newell when we go on a trip. And that's where Kiki and Purvis work out every summer. And I said, okay, I need to meet him. And I went to LA and I told him I needed to get better. And he says, okay, I want you to come to the camp. You got to be committed. I said, I will be committed. I will stay in LA as long as you need me. And Kiki and Purvis was there. And we used to battle. But lo and behold, they took me to the side and they worked with me. It was amazing. They worked with me, man. And so I went from 9 points a game my first year to 20 my second year.
Wow, that's a
and it was
huge
all
jump.
based on them. And so, yeah, I mean, like Kansas City was great for me because it humbled me. Scott Whitman and Otis Birdsong had just left there as free agents. And so it was an open spot for me. And after my first year, man, he took me in a room with Kevin Loder, okay? Kevin Loder was from Alabama State. And he told both of us, he said, you're going to play one-on-one. This was after a 3-hour practice, okay? Mike Woodson was the passer. You're going to go one-on-one until the other one wins by 4. And I'm like, okay. So about 45 minutes later, we still going at it. And I finally warmed down, okay? I never got tired. I warmed down and I won. I started that night. He told me if I didn't play to a level that I thought, that he probably would waive me the next day.
Wow.
True story.
Wow.
And it was against Utah. I think I had 30 and about 14 rebounds. After the game, he said, see, I know how to get the best out of you.
Wow. That's impressive.
That stuff don't happen in today's game.
No. And you know what else doesn't happen in today's game? Speaking of, because I went to Pete Newell's camp, the Pete Newell big man camp. And I tell you what, Tex Winter, the great, offensive guru here with the triangle offense, always wanted to send us young players out to. It was in Loyola Marymount, and then they moved it to Hawaii, and then so he always wanted me to go work with Pete Newell, and I'm like, what do I need to go out there for? I got good footwork, yada yada. And man, I went out there, and Kermit Washington was there, Stu Lance was there, and Kiki Vandeweghe was there as one of the coaches. And I got a chance to play against Kiki towards the end of his career. And his footwork was impeccable. I was just like, man, how is this dude killing like this? Like, he's just killing. And he's not fast. He's not the most strong guy. But his footwork was just unbelievable, how he could get open, face you up, jab step, step. He did the rocker step on you, which they teach you. The
reverse
pivot. That reverse pivot. Yes.
Stuff,
yes. And so in today's game, that's why you miss the late, great Pete Newell. Because, like, guys would go over there, and you would go over there and meet. There'd be, like, 25, 30 guys would go over there. Shaq was over there. You had Danny Manning was over there in their first part of their career. And you learn so much from that man. Like, it was unbelievable. So when I come back to the Bulls and we running pinch post things, and I know how to inside reverse pivot. I know how to do all that stuff. I know how to do the step back. The things that you see now in the game where guys like they jab step and they step away from guys, he was teaching you that stuff back like in the early 80s and 90s. It's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, a hesitation, step back, all that stuff. But nowadays, I guess guys don't need it because if you're Jordan Poole or you're Jamal Murray, and I hate to throw Jamal under the bus. That's my boy. But, man, that dude did a step back last night, man, and step back 4 times.
Wow.
They didn't call it.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a little bit different now.
Yeah, it's that we were just talking about, we were just talking about the officiating. The officiating this year has been a little bit different than we've seen in the past. Last night we got in a situation, where you get that last 2-minute report thing. And they've given us like 4 of them where they said we should have won the game, whatever. I wish they wouldn't even send that out. Just let it go.
Thank you.
Just let it go. Just let it go. It's not even necessary because it's not going to change what happened, not going to change the outcome. And all that does is really causes people to doubt what actually happened in the game. So why
ticks
even
you
put it?
off, man.
Why do you even put it out there? And so
Yeah.
and we were talking about last night. Last night's game. We got down to the end of the wire. The problem with us this year, Eddie. I'm sure you followed a little bit of it. We're losing the teams that we should be beating every night.
Right.
And we're beating the teams that people say there's no way in the world they should be beating.
Exactly.
And like this year, last year we won 70% of our games against below 500 teams, and we had a bad record against winning teams. This year it's reversed. This year we're 40% beating the bad teams, and we're beating the good teams like 70%. So it's a complete turnaround from last year. And last night was another one of those games. Now talk a little bit about what you guys are going through in Phoenix, because the West is tough. Like Denver, with Denver, the way Denver's playing, you got Murray healthy and he's getting his legs underneath him. They look like the team to beat. They're number one in the West right now. Tell us a little bit of what you guys are going through. I know you guys got a lot of injuries. I was watching a little bit of that game last night. A lot of your key players are out.
Everybody's out.
Yeah, everybody's out. And you guys are basically playing shorthanded. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. Yeah, no woe is me though, right?
Yeah, no one cares.
The 2 years before this one, we were reasonably healthy, and we were able to go to the finals, and then we were able to win 64 games last year. And so I will always say to the guys, look, man, everybody goes through it. Is how you persevere through it, right? And so, yeah, right now, man, we're really beat up. I mean, if you think, Devin's out, Chris Paul's out, DeAndre Ayton is out, Cam Payne is out, Cam Johnson still rehabbing from his injury. Torrey Craig is playing beat up right now. Mikal Bridges is playing beat up right now. But you know what? I would tell guys, now you should understand what teams like your Bulls teams went through that won titles, what Golden State has gone through, and then be really amazed at what LeBron has done.
Yes.
When you're going that deep every year and you're able to come back and double down on it, it is a tough hill to climb. And so you have to respect it and respect your body and then stay in tune with it. And I'm not saying these guys have respected their bodies. We've had some weird freak injuries, but it's our time, man. And right now it's tough. I mean, we beat Golden State the other day. I don't know how we did that. I really don't, but it just goes to how weird this season is with these blowouts. And like you said, teams beating and beating teams that maybe they shouldn't beat. But yeah, we're going through it, man. And right now we're just trying to hold on. That's all we can do. Memphis and obviously Denver are separating themselves from the pack, but the West is still close. I mean, we're in the 7th position, I believe, 7th, 8th position right now. And we're only a 5-game winning streak away from being maybe 2nd or 3rd in the conference. So for the first time, I think the West has a lot of parity, and the East is like better than the West. And I haven't seen that in a long time. I'm sure you haven't either in a while. But the East is a better conference right now. And they have teams that if we go into a playoff year, they're going to be favored against any West opponent that comes out. And I think that gives the Suns hope, because now they can say, you know what, we still close enough. And if we do finish 5th or 6th, we still believe we can beat anybody if we're healthy. And I think that's their mindset right now.
A lot of people are familiar with Monty Williams' story. He had the personal tragedy, and he's come back to become a really successful NBA coach. You mentioned going to the finals, winning 64 games. But the one problem that he has had is trying to reach DeAndre Ayton. He seems like Ayton has kind of been chafing at some of the things that Monty's trying to teach him. And, there's been some blow-ups on the sideline. Stacey and I were working a game last Saturday. Lauri Markkanen came back, and Lauri Markkanen had 8 dunks in the game, and he's dunking over the top of people. This is his 3rd team. Do you think for DeAndre Ayton it may take going to another franchise before the light finally comes on that this is what I have to do to be a successful NBA player?
Well, let me just address his and Monty's situation. It's not as bad as what you hear.
Okay.
Stacey, I'm not going to speak for you, but I had 12 coaches. And I'm telling you, I probably cursed every one of them out. At some point or another, right? I mean, they ticked you off. Yeah. Or they said something to you. Like, George Karl, please. I used to go at him like no other, but I love George Karl. I respect George Karl, and he allowed me to speak my mind. And sometimes as a player, you have to have that ability. DeAndre's issue is like I view most big guys that have come through the league. Most big guys, they play the game because they're very good at the game. A lot of times because maybe they don't love the game at a high level. And I think the game has been really easy for DeAndre up until this point. And now he's losing the strength battle, right? He's very skilled. Like, if you allow him to catch it in his sweet spot and turn and shoot, he's going to wear you out.
Yeah.
But it's the physical part, it's the mental part that he's still adjusting to as a young man. He's still a young man. He's 24 years old. He's still a young man. And so I think what's happening is, and, you know, this goes back to the AAU culture, man, and how these kids have all these yes men around them and no men. And now they get to a point where people are saying no to them and they're challenging them and they might have an adverse reaction. But honestly, guys, and I'll tell you, I'm very honest, for the most part, their problems with each other really is rooted in just making him better. It has nothing to do with personal stuff. It's just really rooted in trying to make him a better player. And they've been very communicative this year. DeAndre's happy. People thought he was sad. DeAndre's might be the happiest go-lucky guy you're going to find on this team. So it's not like that at all. But, you know, I can understand why people would think that based on what happened last year in the Dallas game.
You know what? This has been a big surprise to me. It's like I'm looking at, you know, you guys, and I'm looking at Golden State, two of the better teams in the league, and especially with the way you guys play with this new NBA, you know, a lot of floor spacing, a lot of wide open shots. And you look at Golden State, and I watched you guys play them tonight and just blew them out. And they've been pretty much unbeatable at home. I mean, they're 17-5 at home. But to be the record they have on the road is completely shocking. It's like two different teams, Eddie, that when you play them. And we kind of liken it to, like, they're bored. I've heard a lot of people, a lot of analysts say that.
I'm tired of that board.
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah. I don't. No, it's not bored anymore. You get bored after about 5-6 games. You know, we got bored when we were winning championship, but we didn't lose.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Maybe we didn't blow a team out, but we won the game. But
you knew you were going to beat them.
You knew we were going to beat them.
You knew you were going to beat them.
And what I'm seeing in this league right now, and I see it with our team here in Chicago, is like last night we playing Washington. So Porzingis is not playing, Gafford doesn't play, and you got Bradley Beal out. We have a tendency to look who's not playing and then go in with the mindset, oh, it's going to be an easy game tonight. It's going to be a cakewalk. We're just going to chill and do what we need to do. We're not good enough to do that. And what I'm seeing in the league is a lot of teams have that same approach. They just feel like when a star player is not playing or they're not playing a top team that they can take the night off. And I think Golden State's like that.
Yeah, I agree, Stacey. And, you know, these players today don't show up to a game with an attitude.
Yeah.
This love fest that goes on, man. Look, I could look at Stacey and say hi. That's all he getting from me.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not talking to you, man.
Me either.
Like, you get ready to knock stew out of me.
Yes.
I might get switched off on you. You gonna put that rear on me and knock me into the stand. I ain't about ready to have no conversation with you.
Yep.
Like, you're my enemy.
Yep.
When we get between these lines, you're my enemy. Like, you know, me and Scotty had a good relationship. But I'm telling you, that dude was trying to kill me. He was trying to take it from me. He was physical with me. I mean, all those things. Like, today, these dudes, man, they talking to each other, loving on each other before the game. I don't understand it. I don't get it. I think it makes you softer when you do that. And that's just the environment we're in. And I question, Stacey also, and Mike, I question, these guys love the game, man.
Yeah. I do too. That's what I said too, Eddie. I do one thing. There's no rivalries anymore. Yeah. There's not a team that says, like, we had a rivalry against New York. We had a rivalry against, you know, Detroit. You know, we rival LA or whatever. You had rivalries. You had teams that you didn't like, and your fan bases didn't like each other, the teams you played on. There is no rivalries in here. You know, it's like when you play basketball, you're playing against your brother. You're going to play just competitive enough to show your brother that he can't beat you, but you ain't trying to hurt him. You ain't trying to maim him. But if I'm playing a dude across the street, my attitude's totally different when I'm going at you because I'm going to try to destroy you. I'm going to take your heart from you, but I'm not going to do my brother like that. And I think the league, because all these guys are buddy-buddy, you know, they going out, they get riding the banana boats, they doing all these things, you know, hanging out, that they take the competitive edge away from when it's time to play, except for LeBron. LeBron knows what he's doing. LeBron be friendly with you. Yeah, hey, how you doing? But he gonna drop 40 on you. He gonna kill you. There's certain guys.
MJ used
yes,
to do.
exactly.
You saw MJ do that all the time.
Yes, and there's certain guys in this game that do that. I see it with John Morant. John Morant don't like nobody. John Morant trying to kill people. Okay,
and Giannis don't like.
Giannis don't like it. Giannis don't like anybody, and everybody gets on Giannis. Well, he doesn't. He's his own man. He's not trying to be friends. That's the mentality I think you have to have, because if you're buddy with all these people, how are you gonna kill them? You're not gonna kill somebody you like.
Yeah,
it's
like
crazy.
I said, I just question the love, man. I question, do these guys actually really love the game? And, look, I'm very opinionated on Kawhi Leonard. I happen to love his game. I don't think he loves basketball. How can you love basketball, man, when you can score 41 game and you sit over there in street clothes the next?
Yeah.
I mean, I can't, like, when I had big games, man, I couldn't sleep.
Yeah.
I wanted to hurry up and play the next day.
Yeah.
Like, you can just say, oh, I'm not playing tomorrow. I just, because I might get injured, I've never known a guy like can take off a day and come back and he's moving like as a gazelle. Like, come on, man. We flew commercial. We stayed in 3-star hotels. We had to go through all this stuff to play, and we would play back to back to back. I don't know if you were playing back to back when you got in the league, Stacey, but I mean, that's what we did. And these guys don't understand how to play through pain.
No.
Like I played through a dislocated shoulder. You played with a guy with Scott Williams, right?
Yep. His shoulder
would
pop
out during games.
Yes.
I mean, like these guys, man. If one of these guys dislocated the shoulder, man, they laying on the floor. Ambulance got to come out. I mean, everything. They calling mom. They giving a thumbs up as they carry him off the floor. I mean, it's just a different animal, and I just can't get over it because I love this game. I know I put my all in it. I know I took years off my life by playing to 40 years old and putting up with the stress of it all. And when I see guys take nights off, man, just because. John Wall tore his Achilles getting out of the shower. He didn't do it on a basketball court. Come on.
I agree with you. I say this all the time, and I always say I don't want to be that old guy talking, but I play with the greatest player on the planet. Okay, the GOAT, okay? This dude didn't miss games. This dude didn't miss preseason games. He understood the value of fans coming to see him. This might be the only time they get to see him in a preseason game in New Orleans, okay?
Yeah.
And he showed up and played three of the 4 quarters. Didn't miss games. Couldn't wait to get to the next game. And when you see these guys, and I think it's, I believe it's just a product of the environment because, with everything how now everybody gets participation trophies. When one team went 12-0 and the other team went 0-12, but we all are on the same level because we got the same trophy. And that's how this society is really kind of catering to these guys. And they're so worried about their brands, what their brand is. You watch them in the game. When we walked in the game, Eddie, we was dressed nice. Ain't nobody taking pictures of us. We ain't posing.
Right.
We ain't doing none of that. we came in suit and tie. We came in like G'd up. Nice alligator shoes on. We was funky when we walked in. But we wasn't posing like we were models walking. They got the red carpet. They walking on the runway. They're more concerned about those kind of things.
Their brand.
Than the branding and everything like that than actual like wins and losses. They would rather worry about that. Well, did you get this look here? Did you make, wait a minute, let me turn. Did you get my good side?
Exactly.
They're worried about that kind of stuff than like, hey, I'm playing the Phoenix Suns tonight. I'm in a playoff race right now. We trying to get playoff position and we need this win. They're not concerned about that. And it's really sad. And again, because we played the game in an era where there was no excuses. You showed up to work every day. If you didn't play 30 minutes in a game, you was next day working hard. 6 on 3 on 3.
Working on your game.
You're working on your game. We didn't have 100 coaches out there. Think about when you went to go warm up. You warmed up yourself. It was a ball boy that got the ball for you. You was out there working on your game before the game. Now you sit out there and you watch. There's 25 coaches. Everybody got their individual coach, and it's like, wow.
Yeah.
Wow, is this what it's come to?
It's a different level, man.
We got masseuses traveling. We got a dietitian.
Hold it. They can't play back to back.
Exactly. We got everybody.
Mark, seriously, they can't play back to back.
Oh, I know.
Basketball, man. Look, basketball is so easy. Like, I honestly, I never got tired playing basketball. Like,
no, me either.
I got tired in practice. I hated practice. It was a necessary evil. But the game, how could you get tired in the game when there's so much stop and go?
Yeah.
Like, when there's so many timeouts, there's so many stoppages in the game. Like, for me, it's like, man, that's what you want to come. That's what you live for, is to play the game.
Yes.
Like, sit out of practice.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I wasn't there, but I guarantee you, MJ wasn't practicing much after a certain amount of years, but he was showing up for the games.
Yeah.
Scotty was showing up for the games. Like, because that is the most important part. These guys rather practice. They'd rather go practice and not play the game, which is totally crazy. But you know why they're doing it? Because like what you just said, Stacey, they got an appointment to go somewhere else to work on their rap career.
Yeah.
Or go look at their clothing line. They've gotten into the NBA and they're using NBA money to a point to go chase the career that they're not going to start until maybe 10, 11 years from now.
Yeah.
And that to me is not the way it should be done.
No, and organizations are allowing it. You know, the one thing I liked about Brooklyn when they did this summer, when, you know, Kyrie wanted to be traded and you had Kevin Durant wanted to be traded. And I've always said it's going to take somebody to say, shut up and play. We're paying you this money. Shut up and play. You're not going anywhere. And Brooklyn did that. And you get Steve Nash fired. You know, you got all these coaches, you know, in and out of the lineup, you know, fired. And then all of a sudden, you know, it's like, well, we want to be traded now. And then Brooklyn says, you know what? No, you still got 4 years on your contract. You staying here. We'll discuss that when that time comes. But right now you're gonna play. Right. And then now what do you see? Oh, they're like, oh, they didn't sit out games. They didn't, you know, boycott. They went out there and played. Now they're one of the best teams in the Eastern Conference because now they're forced to play. And I believe if organizations started doing that and started saying, hey, look, no, that's not happening. Get out there and play. Yeah. I'm paying you $30 million. Like I've always said this, Eddie. Your mom, your family, your parents worked many jobs to give you an opportunity. Mm-hmm. My parents worked double jobs to give me an opportunity. They didn't miss days of work. Right. So if you grew up in that environment, how can your mentality be that way? Your mentality should be the same way your parents had. I always looked at basketball as being fun. It wasn't a job to me. It was fun. This was I would play for free. If they said, Stacey, you had to go work at Five Guys and you can play basketball at night, I would have done that because I love to play. But these guys, you say, okay, you got to get a job or you're going to play, you're going to hoop. Well, what kind of job is you offering?
Yeah, without a doubt. You know, that KD situation, Sean Marks was smart.
Yeah.
Because KD is a dude that loves to play.
Yes, he does.
And he would not have set out.
No.
Because he loves to play basketball. That's the one thing you can say about him. He loves to play. And I think they knew that, and that was their hold on him. And I think ultimately that's why he just gave in and said, okay, fine. Because I could not see him sitting out at all. This is a guy that came back from a devastating injury, and he has not missed a beat. And it just says a lot about him. I question his leadership, obviously, in regards to Kyrie. But as a basketball player, no. I knew he would come back.
Hey, Eddie, we really appreciate you jumping on and joining us on the Gimme the Hot Sauce podcast. All your many fans in Chicago and downstate at the University of Illinois, I'm sure really enjoyed this interview. Wish you good health, continued success.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks for joining us.
Hey, we're going to get your address. I'm going to send you some of my gourmet hot sauces, baby.
Hey, man, send it to me. And I know you
displayed right in front.
Sauces too. Yeah. I'll travel with them too.
I do.
Get them to me.
I'm gonna get them to you. Our producer Maddie will get your address and she'll get them out to you.
Hey, and Eddie, Stacey's such a big timer. He's gonna have these sauces in Jewel Osco now. He's got a deal to get these things all over
That's
over
nice.
Illinois.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Stacey's big time.
Hey, you know what? I'm working on my brand, Eddie.
But you know what? No, Stacey.
Give me the hot sauce.
No, look, you have done a tremendous job at your post career and what you do. I listen to most of your broadcasts, man.
Thank you.
I told Stacey one time, I said one time he was doing a game, I felt like I was in a lounge. He got real cool on me. I needed a drink. Right now.
There you go. That's the best endorsement you can get.
Hey, he's awesome too.
Yeah,
He's
absolutely.
I watch him too. He's awesome too. That's my guy, Eddie.
So follow Eddie Johnson at Jump Shot 8. Hopefully Phoenix gets things together, and we'll see you down the road in the playoffs, all right?
Oh, that'd be great, wouldn't it? I'd love to come back to my hometown and
there you go.
Yeah.
Oh Lord, that might be a dream away. I don't know about that.
Hey, we can all dream, Stacey.
We can all stay alive a little bit longer.
Yeah, we just trying to win one game at a time over here, Eddie.
Eddie, thank you so much. We appreciate it.
All right, guys.
Good luck, Eddie.
Take care.
Happy New Year, buddy.
Appreciate you.
All right, give me the
All
hot
right, same
sauce.
to you all.
Rolls on after a quick timeout. A lot of fun catching up with Eddie Johnson. If you didn't get a chance to see him play, this guy was unbelievable. We showed in our promo clip. He made that shot at the end of a Houston Rockets game. I think Charles Barkley was on the court, and he was at the end of his career. He was still hitting big shots late.
Let me tell you something, America. This guy, he could play in this league now.
Yeah.
He would be a prototypical stretch four because he could rebound, he was strong, he could defend, and he could shoot lights out from every place on the floor. I mean, wanted to get, and he's close to 20,000 points in his career.
Yeah, Eddie Johnson, one of the all-time greats, no question about it. Let's switch to football, and big news out of Hallis Hall on Thursday. Kevin Warren, the commissioner of the Big Ten, has accepted the job to be president and CEO of the Chicago Bears. And, Stacey, the reason why that has a lot of significance is he was instrumental in getting a new stadium built up in Minneapolis. And now they're thinking he can come down here and get that Arlington Heights deal done. They need somebody that's got experience to navigate all the politics that are involved.
Yeah, you see, I saw some promos where the renovation of Soldier Field.
Yeah.
Come on, that was
good
low.
luck with that. Huh?
That was low budget commercial. Come on, man.
Yeah.
What's the guy's name that does the news?
Bill Curtis.
Bill Curtis.
Yeah.
They enlisted Bill Curtis'
Yeah,
silky
the narrator,
voice.
yeah.
And I was like, come on now.
That's desperation right
It's
there.
really desperate. We're going to renovate it. We're put all this money into it. You should have done it a long time ago. Okay? Yeah. Now the Bears threaten to leave, which they pretty much are, I believe, because there's so much land out there in Arlington Heights. And it makes a lot of sense because a lot of your fan base is coming from those areas, and it's a lot easier to get to there than it is to Soldier Field.
They're going to have to do some major work, though, in terms of expressway on and off and creating more lanes because, Arlington Park was great. I love going out to watch the races out there, but the in and out was not the easiest thing. And if you've got 80,000 people out there, it's going to be rough.
Well, they're already starting to do stuff out there. They're already starting to open it up, and they've cleared out. It seems like they cleared out all the racetrack part of it. And there's a lot of land there. Like I did not know.
Oh, there's a ton of land.
I did not know Arlington had all that land. You know, and I was amazed by that. But they're going to do what once they get a plan in place and they know that this is going to happen, you're going to see the construction. You're going to see and they'll get that done really quick. That's not going to be hard for them to do.
And one of the criticisms of the Bears was that it was a family-run business, and Ted Phillips, who was the longtime president and CEO,
Teddy
was, a financial guy. He wasn't a football guy. Now you've got a guy that comes from the Big Ten. He had worked for the Lions and the Rams and the Vikings in the past, so he knows the game. It's not saying that he's going to be making trades and making draft picks, but when he goes out to hire a general manager, he's operating from a position where he has some working knowledge of where the best candidates are.
Well, that's interesting that you say that, Mark, because, Poles is not his guy.
Well, let's see what he can do this year.
But I'm just saying, though, he's there, but that's not his guy.
This is his big offseason to shine.
This is a big offseason, and all this Justin Fields slander.
Oh, it's awful.
Please stop it.
Yeah.
This guy's his second year. The numbers that he put up is equal to Josh Allen's second year.
Yeah, with no offensive line and no receivers.
And no offensive line, no running game. He pretty much was like Lamar Jackson for the Bears. Okay, yeah, that didn't result into wins. But if you take that kid off that lineup, that Bears team may not even win a game. So stop with the slander. Let's trade the pick for Bryce Young. What do you think is going to happen to Bryce Young when he comes in behind this line of scrimmage? I mean, this guy got hurt in a college game by a big lineman. What do you think is going to happen to you when you run up against a 280, 300-pound defensive tackle and you got to run for your life in the pocket? Justin Fields took some serious hits. He's durable. The kid played hurt. He shouldn't even been playing with a separated shoulder. He was out there showing his team that he was going to be out there playing. He tried. Come on, man. Like, get off the Justin Fields slander. Build the team the right way. Trade the number one pick. Get multiple picks. Trade down. Get multiple picks. There's someone out there who covets Bryce Young, just like some fans here do. Yeah. There's going to be someone out there that covers that pick. Give up that
I got
pick.
the team for you. The Indianapolis Colts are sitting at 4. They are desperate for a quarterback.
Yes.
Jeff Saturday didn't work out. They lost 10 games in a row or something like that at the end of the year. They want to move up to number 1 because the Houston Texans right now have the 2nd pick. They're going to take a quarterback. They're in the same division as the Indianapolis Colts. So Chris Ballard, their general manager, who is desperate to hang on to his job, he's going to want to trade from 4 to 1 to get ahead of the Texans and take the guy that they want at quarterback. So they'll be willing to give you couple of number 1s, a couple of 2s, couple of 3s, maybe even a player. That could be the king's ransom if they work that right.
Well, and as everyone knows, the draft doesn't really start till day 2. Okay, unless you just got a home run guy that's a can't miss product at number 1, which to me, the defensive lineman from Georgia, I mean,
Jalen Carter,
he's about the only one I think, and I wouldn't even take him 1. Like I would move down to get him. But if there's one guy you say, oh, that guy's a number 1 pick, I would say him. I like Bryce Young. I think he's got a great arm. I think he's a small quarterback. He's small statured. He can sling it, but you worry about him getting hurt. You worry. Look at Tua for the Miami Dolphins. Like, he's a small quarterback, Alabama quarterback, small statured, and he's not even playing in the wild card game this week because he's got concussion protocol.
Yeah, his career
is in jeopardy. So, you got a kid like Justin Fields who's a big, strong, athletic quarterback. Put the pieces around him that he can succeed. Put the pieces, get him an offensive line that can protect him. Put him in a system that is going to be his system, that he can go out there and run it in his sleep. Quit changing the playbook every year, putting a different playbook on this kid. This kid rushed for almost 1,500 yards. He almost rushed for 15 at the quarterback position. I mean, listen. I liken him. I was talking to Mike Amaral today about this. My driver from Windy City. Shout out to Mike, Money Mike. So we were talking about this. Justin Fields is in that MJ pre-championship mode, where Michael Jordan was the best player on the Bulls team when the Bulls were terrible. But people came to see him because they knew they were going to see something special every single night that he stepped on the court. And they paid money to see. They didn't care if the Bulls won 10 games. They wanted to see number 23.
Yeah.
And Justin Fields has that kind of magnetism. The fans want to come out. They want the Bears to win, don't get me wrong. But they know they're not close to winning, but they want to see that kid. Is he going to run for 70 yards today? Is he going to get almost sacked 4 times, spin out of all these people, and then take off for 50-yard runs? He does something spectacular every weekend. And if you put the players around him, I guarantee you he will flourish. Look at Josh Allen. Josh Allen, do we have the graphics for that, Sriracha crew? Year 2?
Yeah, well, I try to get that up. They did let us know that his final rushing total was 1143. I think he was something like 64 yards short of breaking Lamar Jackson's record for yards rushed by a quarterback.
I want to see the comparison.
Yeah, they're very similar numbers.
Very similar numbers. And now you look at Josh Allen, Buffalo could have gave up on him.
Because people thought that he ran the ball too much in Buffalo.
Yes, and they were ready to give up on him. Oh, he's not a passer. He's a runner. Right. He's got a strong arm, but he's not accurate. All this other crap. And now look at him.
And the completion percentages are pretty similar.
The numbers are almost identical in year 2. Right. And so when you see it, it's like, you kind of go, wow, and people want to get rid of this kid?
So while our crew is looking for that, let me tell you about something that's coming up this weekend that you might want to check out. It's our friends at Biggers Mazda. Their sizzling new Elgin location at Randall Road is the biggest Mazda store in the state of Illinois. And to celebrate the grand opening on January 14th, that's this coming Saturday, Biggers is offering a bottle of Stacey's signature hot sauce with first test drives of new or pre-owned vehicles. Your choice, from the coolest SUVs to the stunning Miata, and introducing the breathtaking, all-new, all-electric 2023 CX-90. So come join in on the fun at 2100 Randall Road in Elgin. That's this Saturday, January 14th at Biggers Mazda. Don't miss out on the opportunity to drive away a searing deal on your next vehicle, and while supplies last, get a bottle of Stacey's signature hot sauce. So that's a big.
And nobody is bigger than Biggers.
There you go.
You can have that, Jim. You can have that slogan right
Jim
there. There you go.
Crew,
I gave it to you, baby.
We appreciate that.
It's free of charge.
Stacey and I, because it's hotter than a you-know-what in here, drinking the Angel water. Usually we get Tim to do this for you, but I'll do it for you. A lot of nasty crap in the Chicago area water. That's why we only drink high-quality Angel water here in the Hot Sauce Studios. Make sure you stay hydrated all year long with water you can trust. Angel water. Call our buddy Andy at 847-382-7800 to get your water tested for free. today.
And while we're still reading out these reads, while the Sriracha Clue is trying to find my information that I needed, okay, we're going to go with the Windy City Limousine. Mike Amaral, shout out to Mike, Money Mike. Windy City Limousine provides championship service. Making a reservation is so easy, it's a slam dunk. Let Windy City break the full court pressure of traffic and get you to your destination in style and on time. Contact us at 847-916-9300 or go online to windycitylimos.com.
Got the Doublemint twins this week?
No, you know what? Mike's got a bunch of Hooter girls in the truck right now. And they brought some lemon pepper wings.
Yeah.
And there's a party out there. He's got like a little party light in the car.
Speaking
little
of that,
disco ball.
did you ask Adam how his night off in Atlanta went?
Oh, man, Adam, let me tell you something, man. That guy is the hardest working man in show business.
Yeah.
Man.
He's just going over his too deep.
Yeah, he's. You know what? Now he's finally done. He's finally done,
yeah.
so he won't miss any more games.
He's able to make the trip to Paris,
He's going
right?
to Paris.
Yeah.
Yes, we're going to Paris, America. We're leaving on Sunday after the Golden State game. We're all looking forward to that. It's going to be a lot of fun, a lot of work, a lot of fun. But we're
Have you been before?
Yeah,
Paris?
I've been to Paris. I went there in like 1993. I was touring Europe. I was in London, Paris, and I got to see some really nice artwork and history things. Castles. I'm big on history stuff.
Yeah,
So,
no, that'll be great.
And then just a small little story, Mark. I always have these stories. But I took a French class back in high school, and back in high school, you had to take a foreign language for an elective.
Yes.
So a lot of the guys, the sports guys, the athletes took Spanish because it was easier. Of course, I took French because all the girls were in there. Okay, I was the only guy.
Why
in
does
there.
that not
Yeah,
surprise
well, it
you?
doesn't surprise you because I was one of the 10 most sexy men in Montana. This is where it all started. So I'm a senior in high school, and I'm taking this class. French is hard.
Oh,
French,
yeah.
I didn't know French was that hard. I just thought you can get in there and just say "parlez-vous français," oui, and I just want to know all the sexy words so I could talk to girls, which I did learn that. If I was going to get an A in that, I was going to get an A in that. And so I remember my teacher coming up to me and she said, "Hey, why are you taking this class?" And I said, and I was, I'm like, well, one day I might go to France. She says, "You're not going to France. You're never going to Paris."
Don't crush somebody's dreams.
No, she didn't crush my dreams, but she tried. She tried because you can't crush my dreams. Okay, so she says you're never gonna go to France. You'll never see France. And that's from a kid, kid from Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Boom, boom. So she says you'll never see France. You'll never see Paris. Whatever. She says, you're not even taking this class seriously. Da da da. Now she was right about that. I wasn't taking it seriously, America. I was a little horn dog. I was out there for all the women. That's all I was there. I was learning. Listen, all I wanted to get a C. That's all I needed was a C. I didn't need an A. I needed a C, which I got. So she said I would never see France, whatever. So in 1993, it was probably after the second championship, I was out in France just touring Europe, doing some things that, I wanted to do. So I had a postcard made up. This is how vindictive I am, America. I'm always on the payback. So I remember what that French teacher told me. And so I go out and I take a picture at the Eiffel Tower. And so, it was a custom-made card. It wasn't like just pick one up. So I had a custom-made card. So I'm in front of the Eiffel Tower, and I hit her with like that.
Oh, no.
Yeah, Mark, I'm vindictive. I'm vindictive like that. So I flipped her. I gave it a double bird shot. And I said, thanks for the motivation. Saying I would never see France. I'm here. Yeah, I'm here, Mark. Yeah. And I sent it to her. And I didn't feel bad about it, Mark, because she could have crushed my dreams. You don't say that to a kid, man.
No.
I don't care if you believe it or not. You don't do that to people. If they have dreams, you try to encourage, especially kids. You know what I'm saying? So she learned a hard lesson there, Mark. Don't mess with me.
Hey, our Sriracha crew hard at work. They've got the comparison numbers of Josh Allen and Justin Fields
I need
in their
glasses
career.
to see
Yeah.
this. Like, Jesus, like I can't see the numbers. Like, oh Lord, the Sriracha clues where they're working. Oh Lord. Okay, where's the second year? I'm looking for the second year. 2019 and then 2022. Okay, look at the numbers. All right, but okay, so yards. Oh Lord.
Oh, Lordy.
Oh, Lord. I feel like, do y'all happen to have this in Braille? Y'all happen to have this in Braille? Braille? Hey, I'm like Helen Keller up here. I can't see nothing. I'm like Steve, isn't she wonderful?
But
Come on, man.
the point still holds that the numbers in year 2 were very
You
similar.
had one job. I told y'all before we even started. You had one job, Sriracha Crew. See, this is what happens when you have a sweatshop.
You know where that leads us to?
Let's go, Mark.
Our man code violation of the week.
Oh,
We were talking about this in our pre-production meeting. And Stacey, our guy Grayson Allen was at it again.
He's terrible. I don't even want to mention the kid's name on my show, okay? But he needs to be mentioned, okay? The Milwaukee fans jumped me on Twitter one day, but my Chicago nation and people who support me attacked them back. So it was a war. Thank you for that ovation. They said, "Oh, you're overreacting. He's not a dirty player." So I put a compilation video from the time he was at Duke all the way up to the NBA, to his first first summer league game, and clearly it shut everybody up because most of those people in Milwaukee either, I don't know, maybe their internet wasn't working or I don't know, but they never saw any. I'm a professional analyst.
And if you're watching on YouTube, this foul where he hit the guy in a very sensitive area almost cost him the game.
Okay, so this is Gary Trent Jr. from Toronto. They played together at Duke. This is his former teammate.
Great.
The kid's going up to shoot a three, and Grayson Allen comes up and hits him in the private.
Well, the sun don't shine.
Yeah, hit him in the private. That's an automatic violation. That's an automatic two-piece with French fries and a fan of drink right there. I'm seriously, when you do that kind of stuff right there, you can seriously hurt somebody. And so that's the violation right there. And the NBA just really needs to suspend this kid. Okay, and then here's the second man code violation. Okay, the kid McDaniels was going in for a layup, uncontested layup. This kid comes with the false hustle. There's no way. He had just hit a three. He just hit a three on the other end. And they run out and they throw it ahead to McDaniel, who has an uncontested layup. No need to try to block the shot. You weren't going to block the shot. He comes with the fake Charlie hustle, and he acts like he's going to block the shot, and he slaps the guy across the face. Now, hits the kid in the face. Kid's down for a little bit. Boom, boom. He does the little, what? I was all the ball.
They always cut to him on the bench with
it wasn't me.
snickering.
Okay, so then the NBA, the referees called a common foul there. The very next day, they changed it to a flagrant one.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, did you not see it the first time? Like you had to wait to see it on the video? This kid is going to hurt somebody really bad. And I'm going to tell you right now, and when he does it, that person's going to sue. Because he has a history of this, and no one has done anything about it. No one is like his team. There's a reason why he's on his third team. There's a reason why. Memphis saw it. They saw some of this stuff. There's no way in the world they didn't. Utah, same way that he's not the type of kid that you want on your team. And like I said, if you're on his team and you're in his fan base, you think this is okay. Oh, you guys are complaining. It wasn't that bad. I've seen guys get ejected for worse. No. This kid has a track record that goes all the way back. If you don't believe me, go to YouTube, type in Grayson Allen's top hits or top flagrant fouls, and you'll see what I'm talking about. It's disgusting.
Sticking with the state of Wisconsin theme, did you see the Packers imploding at Lambeau Field Sunday night? At the end of it, the trainer comes in for the Lions, tries to come in to check on an injured player, and Packers linebacker Quay Walker pushes the guy and almost gets into a shoving match. When this guy's just trying to get to an injured player, Walker got ejected from the game, went walking down the tunnel crying like a little kid, knowing that he really hurt his team on their way to a loss that knocked him out of the playoffs.
He was, first of all, they thought they were going to win this game. The kid had overconfidence, number one. Yeah. Number two, what he did was wrong. And then to go walk out of there, he reminded me of the character on Friday, Red, that got his chain snatched by Debo. And then Debo, he ran to his car, and then Chris Tucker and Ice Cube goes, he's gonna cry when he gets to the car. He's gonna cry when he gets to the car. And when you saw this guy walking in the hallway back up the tunnel, he was crying. He literally was crying, and he was going side to side. And I swear to God, he looked like the guy Red on Friday. And so there's all these memes of him. I got one on mine. I actually put his head on.
I saw that. That was funny.
I put Red's head on his body, and it looked just like it. So I had a little fun with the meme. But at the end of the day, they were overconfident. They thought they were going to win, and then that kind of stuff right there was just a boil of frustration.
Yeah,
thinking he probably thought they were faking injury to save run timeout or whatever. It was the wrong thing to do, and it looked really bad on TV.
And then at the end of the game, Aaron Rodgers again with his news conference going, well, at some point everybody's got to get off the carousel. I'm like, shut the F up.
You know what? Listen, America. When they were losing, he was blaming the receivers.
Yeah.
He was, we got to get better receivers in here, da-da-da. And then when they started winning, I told y'all.
Yeah, we're going to win 5 in a row. We're going to the playoffs.
Yeah, we're going to the playoffs, and all we got to do is take care of our business. And we took care of our business. We got one game left. And what they didn't understand was, and they looked past how well the Lions were playing the last, 8 weeks of the season.
Yeah.
The Lions were balling.
They're going to be tough next year.
Listen,
don't sleep on the Lions.
Hey, when you watch that Hard Knocks,
yeah.
Okay, if you can't get hype playing for Dan Campbell,
I know.
you shouldn't be playing the NFL.
How about him trick plays, going for it on 4th down?
Oh, yeah. And you know what? Matt LaFleur didn't like that.
No.
He didn't like that at all. Because after the game, they said something, but when he got up on Dan Campbell and he looked up to him, he realized,
now you ain't messing with him.
I seen that dude's guns, and I was mad when I was walking off the field. When I got within 10 yards of him, I started seeing he kept getting bigger and bigger as I got closer.
Yeah.
Executive decision.
Objects are larger than they appear.
Great game, and I'll see you next year, and walked off.
It actually worked against the Packers that Detroit got eliminated earlier in the day because they're like, well, screw this. We're going to do everything to knock the Packers out.
Oh, yeah, they did. I mean, wait a minute. They talk about Lovie Smith.
Yeah.
Lovie Smith gifted the Bears.
Because he knew he was going to get fired at the end of the day.
He knew he was going to get fired.
Yeah.
And he, just like Denzel Washington said, I'm leaving here with something. If I'm coming here, I'm leaving with something. And he left somewhere, right? He took the number 1 pick and said, Bears, here you go. Here's a gift for you. And they couldn't get him out fast enough after that. Because I guarantee if the owner could have went down there when he was going to go for 2 and the owner
tried to stop the game, pull the plug
on him right then and there, he would have done it.
Hey, before we get out of here, for folks watching on YouTube, did you guys do a graphic for Tim's man code violation? We'll show that to the folks. He was going to talk about people cutting their toenails and dumping them in the water. I just want to see what you got. What do you got for the graphic here? Oh, he changed course.
Okay, see, this guy here, man. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Come on, man. First of all, you condemn any of your fighters for doing that. We'll kick them out. We'll fire them. Blah 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 blah. They don't deserve to be here. And you defend certain ones that do it. Okay, your star guys, but the guys who are not stars in UFC, he kind of goes at them and gets them out of the UFC. Okay, now here he comes up and hits his wife and literally slaps the tar out of her. Okay. And now he's apologizing, and then I saw his press conference yesterday. He's saying, well, all the people, basically saying all the people who supported me really shouldn't support me. Like, who the hell is supporting you? Like, give me their names. Like, who is condoning this? What people do you hang out with that are friends of yours that says they agreed what you did to your wife? Come on, dude, really? You just dug yourself a bigger hole. That tells you like the ego, narcissist kind of person he is. Because a person who's really contrite and says, hey, I know I did something wrong, you're going to stand by it. You're going to stand 10 toes down. It was my fault. I should have never done that. And you would have left it at that. I'm going to go to counseling. I'm going to go to anger management. But to sit up there, and I think it was yesterday, he's on, and ESPN really hadn't said anything about it. Like, they're not even talking about it too much. Like, if that had been anybody else, Ray Rice, get him out of the league. Ban him for life.
It's programming. They need that card every week.
Stephen A. Smith, you got to get him out of now, okay? Skip Bayless, all these people. No one's saying anything about it. So then he gets on there yesterday talking about, for all the people who support me, I had a lot of people call me and support me on this, and I'm like, wow, what a narcissist. Like, you slapped your wife in front of everybody, and everybody saw it. It wasn't like a gentle slap either.
Yeah.
And alcohol was involved. But it doesn't matter. You're the man. I mean, your wife slaps you, just walk away. Like, okay, I'm going home. Party's over.
That reminds me of the clip when Barbara Walters passed. They showed some of her greatest interviews, and she was interviewing Sean Connery, and he was trying to justify when it's okay to slap a woman.
Yeah. Whose bright idea was that to put that one up there? I bet you they were fired after that one. Wow.
Journalism isn't what it used to be, America.
No, America. You got to proofread everything that goes out there now, man, because there's too much stuff that's out there that people can get a hold of. You got You got to make. Well, wait. I don't appreciate that, Maddie.
Maddie
just put up a sign.
Maddie
and said,
knows we're
wrap it
getting
up.
into sensitive areas.
Wow.
She's like, time to say goodbye, folks.
We're over here supporting. I'm supporting women. I don't think any woman should get hit.
Absolutely.
And any man that hits a woman is a punk. I'm just sorry. Any man that hits a woman should be. They should let 20 women come in with. You ever see that movie? You ever see that movie Full Metal Jacket?
Yeah.
Okay, remember when Paul ate the donuts and they got all the people in trouble? They had to do all this, and then when he went to sleep, he was on the bed and they beat him with bars of soap. They should allow women to do that, like get those big, thick bottles of soap, put them in some socks, and hold Dana White down and just pound him with socks, bam, with the soap, pow, pow, and hit him in his little bald-headed head. Do what you got to do. Crack that leg. Yeah, hitting a woman. Man, that's terrible.
Well, on that uplifting note, America, it's time to bring down the curtain on another episode.
As much as Maddie just made me mad with that wrap it up, I'm not going to do anything to Maddie. Maddie's like my little daughter. Maddie, you good? Don't worry about it. Maddie's all nervous. Like, are they going to get me after this over? No, we love Maddie.
We wish Stacey and Adam and the whole Bolts crew safe travels to Paris. Enjoy yourself, and we'll be coming at you with a brand new episode real soon. So for Stacey and the entire crew, thanks for watching, listening. Make sure to like and subscribe on YouTube and your favorite podcast carrier. Stacey!
Je t'aime très beaucoup. Parlez-vous français? Drive home safely, Chicago. Beep, beep.
Did you not get the memo? Derrick Rose can go upstairs. Woo! Let me step back and kiss myself. MVP time. Windy City Assassin does it again.